finally got it. Marty Ugerard, right? Did I get it right? Yes. It only took me like 16,000 tries. Anyway, welcome back to the Zander Insurance Countdown to Friday. Mo P, B Hop. We are your hosts for another 30 minutes or so. We like to dive all over the place and talk about high school sports. And now it's time for us to talk about the AP's top 10 in regions in and around Tennessee, but more particularly here in the Nashville area. So let's start with 6A, Mo. We've got a host of teams that are in the top 10. Maryville is at the top. What's one of the schools that you want to start off with first from the 6A division?
Well, I guess you got to start at number 2 with Oakland.
Might as well.
I mean, the Patriots 3-0 so far.
Yeah.
Lost to Maryville in the state semifinals last year, so that's probably about right for them.
What about the LSU commit Jacoby Stevens? Now, I'm familiar with him because he started out his tenure at Innsworth, but obviously is now doing a lot of things down in the Oakland area and will be set to take his skills to the SEC at LSU. Is that a guy that can do like Ty Chandler we talked about and be a difference maker at the collegiate level, you think?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yes.
You don't want to think about it for a minute?
No,
You're good?
not
Okay.
at all. No.
All right.
He's a
the real
game
deal?
breaker. I mean, I don't know if he'll play at defensive back as a freshman at LSU, but when he does get on the field, he won't come off.
What about number 5, Smyrna? What do you think about those guys down in that
I am
district?
so excited to see them Friday night
Really?
against Independence. Yeah, I mean they are balanced offensively, and they will hit you on defense, and it's going to be a fun game to watch when they tee it up on Friday night against the defending 5A state champions who beat them pretty good at their place last year down in Thompson Station. So Matt Williams will have the Bulldogs ready for a little revenge on Friday night.
Let's slide over to 5A and start out with Independence. They're at the top of the 5A division right now. So what are you seeing from those guys?
You know, for a team that went 15-0 and won a state championship last year,
Yeah.
really playing well. They had to replace a lot of folks, starting at the quarterback. Brandon Hines doing an admirable job for them. Doing a little differently, more emphasis on the run game for them this time around, but they had a transfer come in from Louisville, Troy Henderson, who's really playing well for them and kind of propping them up in the run game. But like it said, they're doing it a little differently this time around, but they're still having success. 3-0, going over to Smyrna Friday night.
Okay, so we are in 5A. Independence, like we just talked about, is at the top. Oak Ridge is number 2. Knoxville West, number 3. 4 is Cleveland in 5A, which brings us to Cane Ridge at number 5. What are we seeing from this 9-year-old program that's off to its first 3-0 start in its history?
I think we're seeing a team that is starting to make a name for themselves, and not just locally, but across the state, rising up to
Right.
number 5. They were number 9 last week, beat Hendersonville, a team that is obviously recognized as a perennial state contender in 5A. They're
Okay.
number 7 up there. So I think Cane Ridge, like I said, is starting to gain a little notoriety, and now it'll be interesting to see how they handle success.
All right, so what about those guys that don't wear shorts, the Commandos of Hendersonville? I'm just kidding, they do. I'm just saying, they're the Commandos. So, what about the Commandos? What do you see from
I
that
don't know
team?
what they
They're actually
wear,
pretty
man.
good, man. They're ranked number 7 in 5A. So tell us a little bit about the
and
Commandos.
they're in a really tough region because, again, they're in that same region with Beach, with Hillsborough,
Yeah.
and with Cane Ridge. So they're going to be tested by the end of the year, even if they don't necessarily win that region. So they're going to have a shot to go on and make some noise in postseason.
Okay, what about the Cougars of Centennial? They're in your neck of the woods, correct?
Playing really well right now
Oh,
under
yeah?
a new coach, Matt Kreisky.
All right. You don't like my cat noise? What's wrong with that?
I like your cat
Okay,
noise.
well, go ahead then. Finish telling us about Centennial.
No, like I said, they've got a new coach, Matt Kreisky, and they're really young. Lost a really good player in Tyrell Dodson, who went down to Texas A&M. Got to see him a little bit over the weekend on TV, and they seem to have really regrouped from the talent that they lost.
Okay, so in 4A, at the top is Knoxville Catholic. Now, Knoxville Catholic is led by Steve Matthews, former backup quarterback here for the Tennessee Titans. He had to forfeit his first game because they played an ineligible player, but yet he's rattled off 94 points combined after they beat CPA and Knox Central. But let's go to number 2, Marshall County. What do we know about Marshall County in 4A, Mo?
Really potent offense. Got a nice sophomore quarterback down there in Bryce Wallace, the younger brother of former Giles County and Ole Miss quarterback Bo Wallace.
Okay, shut up.
In fact, Bo's an assistant on that staff now.
Bo knows. How about that?
There you go.
Who knew? Anyway, how about number 6, Pearl Cone, right around the corner, the Firebirds?
Big game Friday night against CPA.
How does the Firebird sound anyway, by the way?
I don't know. I've never heard one.
No? Okay, well, I'm sorry. We'll go ahead and finish with the Firebirds.
No, like I said, they've got a big game. Scored 50 points this past weekend against Macon County, starting to hit their stride on offense. Tony Brunetti always does a great job over there. We'll have them ready come the postseason.
All right, number 7 is East Hamilton. Jackson Northside is number 8. Sullivan East is number 9. And Lexington rounds out the top 10 in 4A. Let's move over to 3A real quick and go all the way down because Alcoa is at the top. Notre Dame's number 2. CPA is at number 9. The Lions are rounding out the top 10 in 3A competition. Tell us about Ingle Martin's boys over at CPA.
A little young this time. A little young. Hearing a lot of names that you've not heard previously because they graduated a lot of seniors the last couple of years. So it'll be interesting to see how much further up that top 10 they move this year.
All right, so let's slide over to 2A atop the 2A division, Marion County. But coming in at number 5 is Waverly. What do we know about Waverly, Maurice?
Matt McConnell has done a really good job getting that program up and running out there. They like to throw it around a lot. They got into the playoffs last year, took a tough loss in the first round. Think they'll learn from that this year. I think they're going to be a team to be reckoned with in 2A once the postseason rolls around.
All right, 1A has Wayne County at number 4. What do we know about those guys real quick?
Speaking of quarterbacks, Preston Rice, the son of the coach, Ricky Rice down there, the youngest of 3 brothers, all of whom have played quarterback there, at least one of which won a state championship for him. So he's got some lofty expectations there.
Okay, so coming in at number 5, a guy that's dear to my heart. I love me some Jeff Brothers. He's the coach at Nashville Christian School. Does a lot more than just head coaching the football program, but he's always got those guys humming, Mo.
Absolutely, and they took a tough loss a couple of weeks ago to that White House Heritage team that we were talking about. Again, a young team. But they've got some talent over there, particularly the defensive lineman, Brant Lawless. It's a name that you're going to hear here in the next couple of years.
Brant Lawless.
Brant with
Brant Lawless.
Yeah. Plays point guard on the basketball team.
I know that's right. Multi-sports. You know I like those guys. How about number 7, Trousdale County?
The Yellow Jackets up there on the creek bank getting it done. They've got a second-year coach, David Barger, who took over up there after Kevin Creasy went over to Oakland. And they kind of slid a little, starting to work their way back.
All right. What about Columbia Academy and rounding it out with Fayetteville in 1A? What are we seeing?
Fayetteville.
Did I say Fayetteville?
No, you said it. You said it right. You said it right. But I love my guy down there, Alvin Palmer, Coach P. He's Fayetteville native. He was up here at Franklin and Page for a while. He's back down there in his hometown, and he's got the Tigers up and running.
Is it Fayetteville or Fayetteville?
Depends on where you are.
Okay, just asking. All right, let's go to the Division II AA. Brentwood Academy is number 2 behind Baylor. Baylor's always got good squads, but let's talk about Brentwood Academy first before we go anywhere with the Eagles.
Well, Brentwood, they took a tough loss up at Louisville Trinity a couple of weeks ago.
Sure.
Bounced back and beat JP2 last week. They've got a team coming in out of Texas on Friday night, A+ Academy, charter school. I think they're more known for their basketball. But I'm thinking this game Friday night could get ugly. But this, you know, they're the defending D2 AA state champions. A lot of those kids back, and that's where they are. And I think the Baylor Brentwood Academy game later in the season will be a big one.
What's Ricky Bowers working with at number 7 in 2 AA? We're not used to seeing him down that far in the division.
They really had a tough year last year. I think they're starting to work back from what I hear. I've not had a chance to see him yet. They've got a kid, Rodney Owens, who is a wide receiver, defensive back. He's a Louisville commitment, and they like to use him on both sides of the ball. Had a big night a couple of weeks ago, 8 catches, 131 yards. He's kind of the key for them. And they've got a quarterback, Jalen King, a young kid who's coming along.
Okay, so NBA rounds it out at number 8. When you've got Ty Chandler, a Tennessee commit, obviously we looked at the point totals that they've scored over the last couple of weeks. Why are they down so far, Maurice?
I think the Hewitt-Trussville loss to open the season really kind of set them back a little bit. But everything's still out in front of the Big Red, I think.
I know that's right. Well, we got to step away. But when we come back, it's now time for us to get into our discussion we call Prep Rewind. Our guest this week is Chance Warmack. Stick around for more of the Zander Insurance Countdown to Friday when we come back.